Hi, I'm Dr. Newt, and we'd like to welcome you to Marriage Simple as Pie, the baggage claim episode, where our broadcast is already in progress. Now remember, we're not marriage counselors. We're simply sharing the wisdom in the room so you can have as much information as possible to build a strong and healthy marriage. Because strong and healthy marriages mean strong families, which means prosperous and productive children and adults. We believe that marriage is not difficult. It's simple. So welcome to the show, and we hope you enjoyed the broadcast.
So our three objectives today. First, when our participants, after leaving this show, you should be able to identify portions of your own baggage. So that means you got to be able to define it. We're going to help you define it, and to be able to identify portions of your own baggage. You're not going to get it all in one shot.
Right, and then you need to summarize why that baggage exists. And like we said before, you come from different relationships. Some people have been married before or different experiences growing up. So we're going to be able to summarize the baggage that you brought to the marriage and why it exists.
And finally, you'll be able to compare and contrast with the examples of how our co-hosts, because they'll give you some examples, so we'll leave some Socratic discussions, and they'll give you some examples of some things that they noticed and how they kind of adjusted, which Dr. Lafayette already kind of alluded to. It's a continuous adjustment back and forth until you kind of fine tune it. If you're old enough to remember the old television where you had to turn the knob on the outside, so you turned the channel and then you had to turn the little knob on the outside.
The antenna.
Or vice grips.
That's kind of what it's about. So just really quickly, we said before when we started, but we'll say it again. Marriage is one of the oldest institutions that we know in our Western society. It has some of its foundations in a biblical sense. It is the relationship or the mirror to the relationship that God has with us that we're supposed to have with each other. Right. Now, I know all of our participants and those who watch us may not be, believers, if you will, but this institution of marriage, that's kind of where the beginning was. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take those principles and kind of apply them in a realistic sense. So Kim said it. Listen, we come from different places.
Absolutely.
We grew up in two different cities, two different households. My mom and dad was one way. Her mom and dad was a different way. My house, you got beatings every other day. Girl didn't get any. There were just different things going on. You could come from different cultures, different ethnicities, just all different socioeconomic backgrounds. There's all these things in our lives. Everything that we go through is an experience. And that experience creates what's called a schema in our minds. So it's something that we refer to and we connect to whenever we have to make a decision.
Right.
So all of our decisions are based on prior experiences and how we absorb those things and make sense of them in our past. So depending on what your influences were, that will dictate how those past experiences created the culture or the standard operating procedure in you today. And here's the deal. You have no idea that it's there because it's just normal. It's just what you are. So that means when we come together, I bring some stuff with me that I don't even know is there because it's normal to me. And when she comes to me, I'm not going to say it. She has to say it.
I bring my own set of luggage. I like to call it luggage because I think it's all good until we start unpacking it. And we realize there's the baggage that I have.
Yeah, because there's a difference between luggage
and baggage. Luggage is the good stuff. That baggage, those are things that hang on us, and we got to get rid of them. All those things may not work in your relationship. So
there's no way of knowing those things until those things happen in their heart. So what we want to do today is we have some wisdom in the room. We have decades of wisdom in the room of married folks here. From different backgrounds, different types, and different things. And you heard the diversity even in our daily interests. So we're going to have a Socratic discussion, if you will. So we'll pose some questions to our co-hosts, and they'll just kind of living room chat so you as viewers can benefit from the wisdom in the room. And again, this is recorded, so when it's over, we'll send the link out and we'll post them on our social media so you can watch again. And later on down the road, there'll be a workbook that we'll distribute that you can utilize as well.
This is only just to help to support your marriages, because there's no expert here. Because of relationships, you know, there's so many different ingredients that make them work. What works for you may not work for you too. And so that's why sharing what works might benefit someone else.
So let's just go ahead and get moving. So one of the things that I noticed well, I didn't notice what happened with us when we got together, when Kim and I came together. I came from a background that was more, my father and mother like totally valued education. So education was the only way to pour into yourself, to create a career. So that's how I was brought up. So that was like the focus in my mind. You got to go to school. You got to go to school. You got to go to school. Whereas Kim was a little different. It wasn't, education was valued, but
it wasn't the only way.
Right, it wasn't the
to
only
benefit
way.
yourself. So I mean, my family, many of them had their own businesses, and it wasn't because they had a degree. So it was a battle in the beginning,
Right.
Trying to understand, you know, well, no, I'd like for them to go to school, but we're not going to force them. So it was a little bit of a battle, especially with us having a blended family.
Right,
So.
right. And when we got together, Kim's oldest was 14. And Duke he was 8. So there was some struggle. Now it doesn't sound like it's a big thing, but we missed each other with little things. Just because my baggage, which I thought was lovely, was good for my half. What she thought was good for her half, it just wasn't meeting each other.
Right.
So we had to adjust and align things so that we met. And as time went on, not only did we meet and understand, synergize, so that we kind of brought it together so we could find what works for not only us, but for our children as well. So that's a quick example. So I don't know, I'm gonna jump into Leroy and Shonda, you guys, because you have a blended family similar to us, right?
Oh, yes.
Are there if you were to talk to a brand new couple, not married yet, they're not married yet,
Right. That's a good one.
what would you tell them to do, to inspect, to look inside themselves, to get ready for this baggage thing?
I believe the first thing I would tell them is one of the things that I had to find out for my own self is to redefine what normal is.
Right.
Because what you define as normal is really dysfunctional.
Someone else.
Right. Yeah, it's really dysfunctional. And so I would say for the first thing, you have to assess your normal, what you call normal is, and bring some definition to that. Because if you don't, it's hard to assess any institution, any marriage, without having a baseline or something that you're going to use to have as, you know, as a measuring rod,
Right.
to say, I'm on track, I'm off track, or I clearly just don't understand what the heck I'm doing. So I would just, you know, and then after that, educate yourself about what you're about to enter into.
Right.
You know what I mean? Know something about the reason why marriage why does it exist? You know, why does it exist? How does it function? You know what I mean? Getting out and get outside of your ideals and what you grew up in.
Right.
And what you saw, whether you had a mother and father. I grew up with a mother and father in the home. My wife did not. So right there was, you know, that was baggage.
Right.
So different perspectives. So that would be like the first place where I would start with a newly couple that is willing to engage in this wonderful institution called marriage.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Dr. Lafferty and Mr. Paul. So you guys are the reigning champions as far as years in, I believe, as far as marriage is concerned, and you have your children together. So you have a solid family unit. It's not blended. All of our units are solid. I guess that's the wrong word.
Right.
Yours just is not blended.
Right.
Well, we're blended in a different way.
Okay, okay. So talk about that.
Oh, I think, well, maybe not culturally, but from perspectives of, well, of course, you know, Paul and I had this conversation about So claim your baggage. What's your baggage that you're going to talk about tomorrow night? And, it's a little tough because I still kind of deny mine to some extent, even though we both, I'm with Kim.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So one of my baggage pieces, because I'm a frequent flyer, is that I am fiercely independent. And it seems normal to me, to Leroy's point, that felt like a normal thing, but I recognize too, and I continue to still learn despite the 26 years, that there is a dying to oneself that needs to happen.
Wow. Wow.
And so my norm by myself would be, I get my own door, I make my own decisions. This makes sense to me. You hear the trending of me,
I'm along for the ride.
and you can take out the trash. This is a handyman thing. I'm not going to touch that. Could you please get that, sir? In all full respect, because the fellow next to me right here is incredibly bright and multifaceted, super talented, and yet that, I just go on my merry way.
You bring up a good point, and Newton, you mentioned in the beginning that we are a blended family in the sense that we are different races, but the funny thing is that if I were to talk to somebody about, when they were going to get married, the thing that makes part of what made it easier for us was that we're very much the same. So it's not necessarily the ethnic part of it, but it's the sense that, we both come from, families that have similar parents. There's similar, I have a younger brother, she has a younger sister. So, it was kind of after the fact we thought about this stuff, but there are a lot of similarities that made it relatively easy for us. I think that's part of it, part of the why it's working.
Okay.
There's still a lot of baggage, but
Right.
anyway, as a starting point. And we're, we also are believers, and so that foundation obviously for us is the other big, huge, maybe the most important cornerstone in our marriage. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Can we get Paul and Nina involved?
Yeah.
Oh, let's get Paul and Nina involved. Let's see. So I know Paul and Nina, both of you are entrepreneurial spirits. I do know that about you, and it's a strong love. So tell me. So you two, you do have children together?
No, we have no children together. I have 2 children that were, as the courts would say, they had already reached the age of emancipation before we went.
Okay.
But we have been together 10 years, and we've been married for 6 of those 10.
Okay.
And I'm the only one that had children already, but my youngest now is 31.
So let me ask you a quick question then. So in my mind, the way I see it is that you're on a permanent honeymoon. So it's it's just the two of you, right? So that means that there's nothing in the middle. So like with children, sometimes they're in the middle between some of our I'm going to say clashes or our baggage
They were
juxtapositioning,
they
and
were the
sometimes
reigning king and queens.
and sometimes they were the baggage,
Yeah,
right?
they're king and queens.
So as just because it's just you two in the nest, what would you say to other couples that are, married? Say, like, for instance, Kim and I, we've only been empty nesters for a few years.
Yeah.
Right. What kind of things should we keep in mind as far as our baggage, our differences, so we can blend a little better?
And does baggage still exist when it's just you two?
Yeah, does it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And here is mine. Although when we got together, there were no kids. The biggest challenge is, again, as I said earlier, me making sure that I spend quality time with him. You can get caught up pursuing your businesses, your work, your other family, your blood family, but at some point you need to put all of that on the back burner and make him or her the priority.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's my largest challenge, my largest trunk. It's not a suitcase, it's a trunk that I'm dragging behind me, is how to make time for him when it's convenient for him, because his schedule is somewhat erratic, and now mine is becoming erratic.
Okay. So making the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, as we were preparing for this, I was sitting up there all like this. I was like, we need to do this like every day. Because I get to get in, you know, and we had to actually plan to make the time. I arranged to not be working late today, which unfortunately I wound up not working today, but we'll get past that. But yeah, to have time to be right here together, because often when we're here together, she's in there creating product, and our kitchen is basically turned into a lab. And I'm in here doing production work, doing playlists for upcoming shows or recording shows, because I can't be at the radio station because I have a live performance to do. I have one coming up in Thousand Oaks on the 20th. Maybe anybody can kind of make it up to Thousand Oaks and support. But yeah, we're often here, but we're still kind of each doing our own thing. It seems like we're not even here together. So whenever we can find a moment to do something together, that's the best time.
Okay. So I'm hearing I think a common theme from all the participants that our love, our passion, our vocations are things that we own. And although they provide for us, although it is what we are, it can be a baggage because we hold on to those things. In my hearing, I'm looking at head shaking. I'm seeing okay. I'm seeing everyone's.
In California, your job requires you to do certain things that you'd rather not do sometimes, like eat home.
Okay. So should our listeners expect to always have baggage
Or to be dealing with it.
or be dealing with it?
Yes.
Yes. And any of you can speak up. Anyone at all.
I think you do. I think there is going to always be something, because even people that I have met that have been married for 60 or more years, they're still unpacking.
Mm-hmm.
So there will always be something. But one thing that I've learned in my years on this planet is this: it's not what's going on in the world, it's how you respond to it. You don't have to react to everything.
Okay.
Just because something ugly or indifferent is happening doesn't mean your response has to be the same.
Right.
Okay.
So as those things are unpacking, even when you're empty nesters, it's always going to be something. You can decide how you're going to unpack it.
Excellent. So I'm going to ask a question for all three of the co-host couples. Well, 6 of you, because they're probably individual answers. So if you choose to divulge, I'm going to ask you to tell us what is that, like Nina already did. What is that one thing that you would call your baggage that you might be dealing with now or might have already conquered? Something that you want to share with everyone. All right, so kind of get that in your mind. And while you're getting that in your mind, I'm gonna pick on our audience. I don't know what that one was. So there's a chat box. We have a chat box. So if you're in the audience and you're watching, and you would like to respond or a question, answer in the chat box, click on it and then type in what you think your baggage is, or a type of baggage you would like to hear one of our co-hosts respond to. So I'll be watching the chat while our co-hosts get a chance to talk. I'm gonna let's just go in order by the way I see you on the screen. So Leroy and Shonda.
Oh boy.
Shonda's been quite quiet.
I know, she's been quiet over there.
She's usually very quiet anyway, but it's your turn, Shonda.
This is the normal for her.
I know, she is. She's very humble, very quiet.
Okay.
Okay. But you just said one, right?
Whatever.
Now, I think the biggest for me was ignorance of relationships. period.
Okay.
Because, you know, before I got married and before a change of lifestyle, I didn't respect, you know, I had no respect for, I guess, and was very ignorant, and no value system for relationships between a man and a woman.
Okay.
So that was the biggest thing for me that I had to overcome.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to share one? Okay, she's going to share.
Yeah. And I would say, because I was previously married, coming into this marriage, I come in almost expecting the same things to take place, which weren't very pleasant. So that there was I'll say it was a trust issue coming in, but he didn't even do it.
Right.
It was from a prior relationship.
That's heavy. Matter of fact, we're going to do a whole show on that one. That's a heavy one right there. So thanks for bringing that up. Dr. Lafferty and Mr. Paul.
I definitely had some. I think my biggest issue that I brought with me from my house was very plain and simply, I'm a pouter. I've gotten better at this. I will, but it's this weird, you know, sort of inward anger, you know, quiet. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to, you know, if I feel like I've been wronged in some way, I will sort of get quiet and no eye contact and no, you know, show of love or affection. And, you know, it's this, I can feel this battle inside me. I know it's not right.
Wow.
The funny thing is that Iris is really good. It's like I'm looking for someone to say, "Oh, Paul, what's wrong?" And let me tell you, you know, I'm so sorry I wronged you. It's maybe what I'm looking for. And but she sort of just, you know, Iris does not hold a grudge. She just kind of ignores me, I think, maybe. and I finally come to a place where it just doesn't make sense anymore. I'm wasting time and so forth. But I have to say I'm sorry, and we talk it out, and then it's over.
Wow.
But I can tell you that is definitely something that was in my household, not constantly, of course, but just, you know, that kind of thing did go on, and I kind of brought that with me. So a struggle today still, but not, you know, I think I've definitely gotten better.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that transparency. That was courageous there. That's very courageous. Thank you.
Try to be brave.
So not only did he tell us what it was, he explained how he noticed it and how Iris partners with him to
I
address.
just ignore him.
Which is probably the best thing for her, actually. He's
Amazing.
not rewarding me for my behavior.
Oh, that's actually it, right?
What theorist is that? That's educational theorist, isn't it? Operant behavior. No, go ahead, Dr. Lafferty.
Well, I have that, you know, the fiercely independent thing kind of comes from being raised in a strongly matriarchal family. This is me.
Okay.
This is my thing.
Just ignore it, Paul.
Yeah, so it's a nice match, because if he's pouting, I just don't pay any attention. It doesn't bother me. I'm independent.
Wow.
No, but the independence thing gets in the way because, you know, it's a partnership, right?
Yeah.
And in any other, think of a workspace, if you were just to plow ahead without making sure that the team was with you.
Right.
So then that becomes problematic.
Wow. But could that also be a positive thing?
Absolutely, because you're asking me.
He might have that independence thing himself. You know.
You know, the negative, I actually see it secondhand, because we're raising two, what I'm hoping to be very strong women, right? And so I see the way they treat their men friends, guy friends. And Paul will say to me, "Do you see that? Do you see how she said that? That's you." And I'm like, "I'm sorry." Anyway.
That's a good. That's a good.
Well, It keeps you from having to get a shotgun, Paul.
No.
Exactly.
It's great to see, because sometimes we don't realize it when we see ourselves.
Right.
And then when we see our kids then
Right.
produce that,
Right.
and then we're looking at them like, whoa.
That was actually my next question. I'm glad you said it. And one of the reasons we're talking about baggage claim is because it doesn't just get between us.
No.
We reproduce it. Everything we do, we reproduce in our children and those that are closest to us. Thank you for sharing. So Paul and Nina.
Yeah.
He's enjoying this relaxing with Nina.
Okay, so I have one. Mine is my mouth. My struggle is submission, and there's a saying down south, which my mother says to me often, you need to learn how to keep your mouth, which means learn how to control what you say. So when Paul is angry about something, I tend to, if it's a heated discussion, I tend to want to give back everything that I get. But as we've been together, what I'm learning is just because he's letting off or blowing off steam doesn't mean that I have to react.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time, my fallback is I'm gritting my teeth, and while I'm gritting my teeth, I am praying, asking God to keep my tongue still.
Okay.
That is a huge problem for me.
Okay.
Now, when you just asked this, Nina, is that something that you saw growing up?
Yes. So my mother, whatever my father would say, she'd give it right back.
Okay.
Okay. So reproduce. Okay. But a sense of strength, a sense.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm learning.
What about you, Paul? And after you, Paul, we have someone in the chat, and we'll address him after.
Oh, that's a good one.
After we hear you.
Okay, cool. I don't know. I have so many pebbles to pick from in this huge stack. One of my, I guess, the biggest adjustment I had to make was being an Air Force veteran or being a veteran of any military branch. You get to a point where you're in a position of authority, and there is no back talk to that position. You have the authority to say do, and it gets done. At a certain point, everyone who's under you, there's no talk back, there's no, conversation about it. It needs to get done, or you're going to be in big trouble. And when you thrive in that environment for a number of years, and then you bring those things home with you. And I'm not used to things not getting done pronto. I need that done. That's what I need. I need it done. And of course, everyone's not wearing a uniform. It's just you. So sometimes, despite your feeling of authority, which I've probably never lost, I wind up doing a lot of things myself. And I mumble and grumble, and I'm a little bit displeased, but I have to. It takes some getting used to that you're no longer, the commander or the chief or anything remotely close to that. I'm actually, I actually give myself orders and then I go carry them out and then I come back and say,
there you go. Look, you're a corporal now. I'm going to get you some badges and some stripes now myself. So this is going to lead us into the question from our friend here. He says he has baggage from being a bachelor to having a serious relationship. So that's when you have something that you already are used to, just similar to what you said. And then now going into a relationship after being a bachelor, understanding that you no longer are a bachelor. So
how about we do like this, since we have a lot of wisdom in the room, how about we take 30 seconds from each of the co-hosts to kind of give that young man one morsel.
Maybe one or two co-hosts, because we probably don't have everyone. Yeah.
Okay. So whoever would like to chime in.
Leroy.
Let's go.
Listen, man. Marriage is a journey, right? So you're always going to need a bag because you're always going to be on a trip. The key about it is, so you're changing seasons in your life. You're going from a bachelor into not being a bachelor. What you need to do, keep your bag, but inspect what you have in your bag. There may be some things that you need to take out and some things that you need to put in, so you have what you need for this season in your life. And as your seasons begin to change in your new relationship, you're going to have to continue to do the same thing. Go back and inspect. When things that used to work aren't working anymore, go back, assess what you have in, take out what's not working, and get the new stuff that you need to put in your bag.
There you go.
So Paul, I know you've been married for a while, Dr. Paul Lafferty. I know you've been married for a while. So would you say that change in season is going to be an easy thing for him to adjust that baggage, or is it going to be difficult? I mean, because you talked about the pouting.
Yeah, this is this is a good question, because I would say that the most important transition is this idea of, we're all selfish people. You're single, you're especially selfish because it's only you that you need to worry about. So I would say that the biggest thing to do is try to take perspective. Look at your partner's perspective and try to think about the two of you rather than just about what your own needs are, right? So think more in terms of two people now instead of just the one. That would be my recommendation.
And then I do want to share something with that person as well. Usually in the beginning of our relationships, we never, ever reveal who we really are.
Yeah.
I mean, we only show them the sparkling part of that diamond. We don't show all the things that are underneath it. And so I would say to you, you said having issues with being a bachelor, you need to reveal that to your person you're having a relationship with. You need to let her know that, this is a transition for me. Because as you let her know, then she can trust you more, and you're opening up conversations or opportunity to talk. But if you hide that, it's coming back later on, because there's nothing that you can suppress that will not explode later. So share that information. Make sure you share that with her. Let her know you're having a hard time. Let her know that you're willing to make adjustments, and that you need her to even consider what she can share with you or offer to you, so that you know how to make those adjustments and unpack and change for the season, like Leroy said.
So we are about a minute over the time that we allotted.
It's so fun.
So we want to. Kim said something that I think is good for us to kind of finish off with, where we hide who we are in the beginning, and a lot of that, I believe, is because we don't always stop to see exactly who we are. When we start to build together with another person, you get revealed to yourself, because things start clashing and you start wondering why. But our first inclination as a human is to blame someone else.
Right.
So first we'll look at them, and that's why we have to claim our baggage.
Right.
It's very important that you introspectively look at yourself first and claim stuff. Even I've claimed things that even weren't mine at first, And as you start to shake the tree out, you'll figure it out. But that open conversation is key. That open conversation is key.
Yes, it is.
And I'm going to tell you a reason why. It's going to sound misogynistic, but women are incubators by design. So they'll take a concept and they'll nurture that thing and incubate it. And if you don't, so as a man, what you want to do is you want to give them what you need them to incubate, because they'll help you with it. They'll help you with it by design. That's what they do. So it sounds misogynistic, but it's actually it's a serious truth. Share with them, let them know, and they'll start to nurture that thing, think about that thing, and come back to you with some great input.
And the help might not be what you want to hear.
Yeah.
The help could be me ignoring you when you pout. Honestly, or the help might be me saying to you, you just need to get it together, or me saying to you, okay, well, why are you having that issue? You have that issue because it's something you like. Right. So, sometimes the help may not be something you want to hear, but most times that's the help you need.
So we have to claim that
Gotta
baggage.
claim that baggage.
That's part of being mature. It's part of growing up. It's part of cleaving together, leaving mother and father. When you leave mother and father, that means you're growing up, maturing, and cleaving, becoming one together.
Thanks, Paul, for letting us pick on you tonight. It was just a great example. It was great, and I'm a powder too. So.
So before we close, just want to make sure that all of our co-hosts are empty. Is there anything, any statement, anything you'd like to add before we get out of here and respect everyone's time?
What a great format and idea, Miller family. Thank you very, very much for this opportunity.
No, thank you. We thank you. We thank you.
Yeah, we echo those sentiments. We just thank you for being a part of this wonderful platform.
All right.
Willing to share and open up and be transparent to help somebody else. So thank you.
Well, I love baked goods.
And by these cheeks, I do too.
and
Paul and Nina,
anything you want to add in?
Well, I just had one question for, I forgot his name right there in the yellow shirt with the
Leroy.
Leroy. Okay, I just need to ask you, you live in York, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you related to Jimmy Atwater?
Yes, sir. That's my first cousin.
Second and third grade with Jimmy at Jackson in York way back in 19...
Wow. Are you serious?
Small world.
I was just telling...
Still associated with him and his wife on Facebook.
Yeah, I was just telling my wife, I said, I don't know why this guy looks so familiar, but it looked like I seen him, like I seen your face, and I didn't meet you, but you just look familiar. But I asked my wife, I said, I don't know why he looks so familiar.
Well, we've been around York. In fact, we were there for our family reunion just this past Labor Day. But I used to live right there on Maple Street, right across from the Christmas Attic Center there, right at Maple and Duke, pretty much,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are on Facebook.
There you go. You guys,
There you go.
You have each other's texts.
There you go.
Text. You got emails. Go.
We get hooked up.
Coming in. Remember, marriage is simple. Marriage is simple. We're the difficult ones. Marriage is simple as pie. So claim your baggage.
Claim your baggage.
Build a strong marriage. Strong marriages mean strong families. Strong families mean strong children, prosperous and productive.
Absolutely.
And you right now have the ability to change the destiny of your bloodline with your decision if you check your baggage. Claim it. Thank you guys for tuning in. We hope you have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
Oh, you know what I was supposed to show you? I forgot.
We're gonna let it play.
I got to put it up there. We are wearing shirts. Marriage Matters. A gentleman who makes Marriage Matters apparel, and another gentleman we know who makes it's called First Faith. Fresh Faith. So what we're going to do is put up so it can be there. Put up their contact information if you'd like to look at their websites. Marriage Matters Apparel. He's on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
Just Marriage Matters Apparel and
Adrian Walker.
And it's called Fresh Faith. Fresh without the E. Fresh Faith Clothing, and it's freshfaith.com. Brother, what is his name? Ricardo? Mm-hmm. Ricardo Montpriere. So you can check them out if you'd like to grab some apparel from them. Young businessmen. We like to support them. And also the recording from this presentation will be available. I'm going to send it to all the co-hosts. They can share it on their social media, but it'll be on my Facebook page, which is on there, facebook.com, the number 4YM, which stands for Minute of Medicine for Your Mind. Thank you guys very much. Thank you.
We'll be looking for you all to have something else coming up really, really soon.
Right.
So stay tuned.
One a month. All right, you guys. Have a great day.
Have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
You
you
guys
for
can go ahead
tuning
and log
in to
out. I'm just going to
Marriage
leave that up
Simplified
for anybody
broadcast,
that still
the
in.
Baggage Claim episode. We hope that you were able to grab some morsel from this episode to educate yourself, motivate yourself, and help yourself grow. We invite you to periodically check our social media accounts for advertisements of the next broadcast so you can tune in live and join in on the discussion. Remember, strong marriages produce strong families, which produce prosperous and productive children and adults. Marriage, it's not difficult, it's simple as pie.